Welcome to Shad Life. I got a new rack, and this is a one-up rack. You might have heard of them. They're made in the U.S., which is awesome, and it's mostly made of aluminum, which I really like because it makes it, a little bit lighter and things like that. But this rack is pretty slick, and I want to show you how it works. One thing I really wanted, because I had a Saris rack before, and it was super wobbly, especially with bikes on it. So like in my rear view, I could see the bikes going side to side. And that was, metal flexes and things, whatever, and it's fine, but it just looks a little like disconcerting. So I like this one because it's super solid, and because I have the truck now and it's got a 2-inch receiver, I can get a 2-inch rack. The rack fits in the 2-inch. The old rack was 1 1/4, and then I needed an adapter in there to make it fit in the 2-inch, and that 1 1/4 just quite a bit more flexy. So I'll show you how this works really quick. I wouldn't say it's as user friendly as the Saris rack was. The Saris rack was pretty user friendly. It had a plastic kind of lever thing you could pull here, and you could lift the rack up, pull it down, or anything like this. This one, you gotta undo this, and then you pull this bar, and I'm gonna show that in a second. I just have to use the tripod because showing it this way, but this thing locks it down, so you don't have to worry about that, like coming up or something, going over bumps and having the rack come down. So yeah, I'll go ahead and show you how this pulls down, and then I'll go ahead and mount a bike into it, and you can see how it works. Okay, so as I was saying, you have to undo this little locking piece, right? And pull up on this bar. There's this position. I think this position is if you have like you have the Jeeps or things like that, and you might have a tire mounted on the rear. I believe that's what this position is for. Otherwise, I have no idea. And then down here is a bike storage position. And then this is the position you do if you wanted to open your hatch or something, if you had a vehicle with a hatchback. I can open my tailgate here. I think if it was in the up position, my tailgate would hit. That wouldn't be good. And of course, I can't use my fancy step thing with the rack on, so the rack doesn't just always stay on my truck. But and I think if a bike was on here, it also wouldn't clear my tailgate. So not exactly ideal for pickup trucks, but for regular hatchback style vehicles or a vehicle with a trunk, it would be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and put a bike in here and show you how that works. Just put this in the bike position and go get a bike. Hey, look at that, the low side. So I'll get this set up to put a bike in. So there's these little red levers here, but I'm going to put the bike on this rear one. So pull up the red lever, just like I did here. You keep it pulled up, and you can slide this all the way out. You go over to this side, do the same thing, and now you can put a bike in it. There's multiple ways you can do this, but the easiest way is to take this and kind of get it up into a few locked positions, so you can insert the wheel and it holds your bike up for you. So I'll lift the bike up, slide the wheel in there, and then set it down, and so you can see that it has a little bit of movement back and forth. So you kind of want to center it. And there you go. bike is now secure. It's that easy. It's super slick. And what's cool about this, these are 27.5 by 2.8 tires, so plus, right? And it works so it'd work for a 29er also. These are going to be pretty close to a 29er diameter, maybe a little short, with these big tires on there. And then you see these holes here, so you can run all the way down, I believe, at least a 20-inch bike, but maybe even a 16. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the documentation, but you can basically set it up for whatever wheel size you want. So I could probably put my BMX bike in here. The one thing that's interesting about a BMX bike though is you got a much shorter wheelbase, so I don't quite know how it's going to reach. I guess I'd have to try it, but we'll see. And of course 2 bikes, but one of the things that's pretty cool is this is solid. The other rack, I can sit there and wiggle the bike back and forth quite a bit. And, you know, it wiggles a little this way, side to side, does not wiggle. It's in there solid. So, first we got airplanes. Super cool. And then to take the bike out, you just pull up. And what I'm doing here is I'm giving this a little push if it gets stuck. And then I can release this one all the way. Right? The bike is still kind of stuck in there because this is wedged into the tire a little bit. So I'll release that. Don't need to go all the way. Take the bike out. And then there you go. And yes, I didn't lock this down when the bike was on there, but you'd want to do that. So when I was in that down position, you want to reach underneath and lock this bar into place. That was the one step I missed. But yeah, super high quality. I like it. Another thing I really like about this rack is how easy it is to remove with this tool they provide. You can see it has that hollow middle, so this Allen key will fit in there, and you know, it's kind of like semi-security. Obviously, if somebody knows these racks, they're gonna know they need this special Allen wrench, but for most people, if they just have Allen wrenches on them, they're not gonna be able to undo your rack and steal it. It does come with a lock, which I haven't installed, but you'd run the lock through here and you can lock the rack into place if you want with a key. I would do that when I go on trips and stuff, but basically you just loosen this, and once that's loose, you can slide the rack right out of the hitch and remove it from your vehicle, which I'm gonna need to do a lot, because if I'm doing stuff where I need the tailgate, I don't want the rack back here. I mean, that's just kind of so when I'm doing truck stuff, I don't want to have the rack on here. So the main reason why I wanted to order a heavier duty rack, so this is their heavy duty version, is because I have an e-bike now, and when I had my e-bike on the rack, my previous rack, it was like wobbling all over. It looks super sketchy. This is compatible for e-bikes. I don't remember the weight, but this thing's so sturdy, I don't think it matters what the e-bikes weigh. The heaviest ones out there are like 55 pounds or so. So this can definitely handle e-bikes. That's what it's rated for, and so that makes it super nice to know that my really expensive Santa Cruz Vala will stay safe in this rack. And I do go ride with my friend Jason sometimes, and we've gone on our e-bikes, and we were using the mounts in the bed, but they're super frustrating. You got to take off your front wheel, you got to crawl down in there and do that. It'll be much easier and quicker to just throw our bikes on this thing. So there you have it. I appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace.